Hi there. I'm a day or two late with this. I had to get a new phone, so it's getting used to something new with me now. But I did want to give you some feedback on discussion post 4. I know we're on to 5 now, and I've graded most of the wordless picture book assignments and enjoyed reading your plans. And I also wanted at the very end here to give you a few words of wisdom based on student work in the past about your assessment paper. So, first of all, with the discussion board post, I really enjoyed that a lot of you mentioned to avoid the deficit lens, to really focus on what our emergent bilinguals can do. Because remember, for many of them, they can do a lot more than we can, which is speak a second language. And so we need to value that, as you all talked about. I do want to say a few words about code switching. Um, excuse me. I love this concept of code switching. There's some wonderful articles out there. If any of you are interested in it, I'm happy to provide you with this. This has a lot to do with research into African American English, and which I find fascinating that so much of African American English can be traced back to languages spoken in very specific parts of Africa. So it's a very rich, rich heritage and one I value so much. I also was reminded of code switching, which is the ability of a person, anyone, not just a student, to switch from the language that is considered school and business language in this country to their cultural language. My children laugh at me because they say the minute I cross the Mackinac Bridge, I switch to Youper talk. And I do, I know that. So we generally do have the ability to code switch, and rather than correcting students all the time, sometimes what we need to do is to help them understand that some languages are great for home and the neighborhood because that is a rich culture. But there's some parts of language that we need to use in school and as they grow older in the business world. So that's a little bit about code switching. I did enjoy reading some of your comments about F&P, Fontes and Pinnell. This is a big controversy right now in the literature, and Fontes and Pinnell are starting to weigh in on some of these aspects. If you have not taken Read 609 yet, and you're planning to do that, please file away that new article. I just pulled it out of the reading teacher a month or two ago, or maybe a few months ago. The Second Lens on Formative Assessments with Multilingual Students. That is an article that will be helpful to you as you write the School Literacy Assessment Part 2. So if you are in the READ program and you're taking 609 in the future, make a little folder on your computer. That article, I guarantee, will be helpful for you. Again, thinking about what's coming up in the READ program, anything on PSYOP 2 is needed for Read 665, the reading and writing in the content areas. So please make sure you are aware that those PSYOP components, you will see those again in Read 665. Let's see. Types of schooling. Oh, my goodness. I've been in so many schools around the world, and it is fascinating to see the differences. And I think, we are so aware that the students we have may be speaking another language, but we may not always be aware that their picture and their experience of school is very different than what the experience of school is in the United States for many of our students. I've been in schoolrooms where there are 50 students crowded together on benches that are too high for some of their little legs to be sitting on. And there's cinder blocks with windows that are just cut, just holes in the walls, open on 3 sides, no electricity and no air conditioning. And that's in Cambodia. Very, very hot. Same in Thailand. I've been in schools where children sit under trees in Botswana. So their experience of school can be so different from what we picture, and that's something else we need to keep in mind. Somebody made a really good comment about about endings, ED endings. And a lot of times in English, the ED ending is pronounced t, and a lot of times it's the separate syllable ed. And I have had to teach some native English speakers this, but most students just naturally, if they're native English speakers, know this from hearing the language spoken. But there are some students, even native English speakers, who will say jumped did. And so we need to teach them that if that base word ends with a T or D, that's when we get that separate syllable with the ed ending. And for other words like jumped and walked, it's just that t that retains the single syllable. So F&P, we're working on being more open to linguistic differences as we score those. If you have me for 609, I certainly will discuss a lot about that when we are doing our QRIs. And you probably will have me for clinic for 626, the beginning clinic. And we certainly will be looking at, does that miscue change meaning or does it not change meaning? And I will encourage you to only count it as an error if it is a meaning change miscue. Finally, I want to just say a little bit about the assessment paper. I have written some topic sentences on there. You do not have to use those, or you may choose to use those. It is up to you. Do not feel that it is necessary. I put them there just to kind of give you an idea of what's expected. And again, as I said in the email announcement, you do not need to give any assessments to students too late in the school year for that. You're too busy. And then finally, some of you have given those assessments before, but I want you to remember as you write, the purpose of the paper, and it's in the title of this class, is the assessment for English learners. So remember to focus on emergent bilinguals or English language learners as you analyze those assessments. Please do not just use your background knowledge and say, oh, I give this to my students, and discuss your English-speaking students. Really focus on your English learners. That's where people in the past have lost points because they have not done that. So I want everybody to do that and receive full points. All right. Have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you soon.